Hey love, do you find yourself procrastinating on your dreams? If so, watch this. So in my previous video, we talked about imposter syndrome and how to overcome it. If you want to watch that, I will link it here. And for today, let's talk about procrastination. Probably watching this as you're procrastinating on something else as we speak right now. If so, no judgment at all. I've done that, my love. But before we get to it, I want to invite you to hit the subscribe button and also the bell to be notified of my videos. If we haven't met yet, let me just quickly introduce myself. I'm Myrra and I'm a kingdom-driven entrepreneur, online course creator and strategist, and an author helping women build a life of purpose, freedom, and impact. Have you ever struggled with procrastination? If so, in the comments below, type in, how do you know when you're procrastinating on something? Let's talk about it in the comments below. In my book, Faith Steps, which you can get in Amazon, you can get the ebook or the printed copy, I actually talked about procrastination. I wrote an entire chapter just about this, you guys, because I truly believe that it's such a big roadblock when it comes to achieving our true success and the dreams that we really desire. Procrastination is a very common term that's thrown around in our society right now. And so to give you guys a definition, Oxford Languages define it as the action of delaying or postponing something. As much as I believe that practical and tangible help and tips can truly help you in dealing with procrastination, I was looking over the videos that is already out there, a ton of them about procrastination, you guys. And so I realized that a lot of them are talking more about the practical things that you can do, consistent habits, apps that you can download, things like that. And so if you're looking for those kinds of things to help you with procrastination, then I recommend that you search it out because it's already out there. There's a ton of them on Google and YouTube and everywhere, right? But in this video, I specifically want to talk about the in-depth things that you should know when you're struggling with procrastination. To be honest, this is something that I wrestle with a lot. As I was writing my book, Faith Steps, I fell into the procrastination trap. I procrastinated and procrastinated and procrastinated until I realized that it's been about weeks since I last sat down and actually wrote down a sentence in my manuscript.
Hey guys, I have been procrastinating on writing my book for a few weeks now. I should have started just at least rambling some words, but I just couldn't. I felt like I needed more. I felt like I didn't know enough. And so this is just proof that the imposter syndrome is real.
But you see, I was still able to push through. The reason why I was able to do that is because I reminded myself of the true foundational principles that are very important for us to get reminded of whenever we struggle with procrastination. And so right now, if you're procrastinating on your dreams, in your goals, and the things that God has put in your heart, then I truly believe that these things that we are going to talk about in this video is going to be important for you. So let's get to it. The enemy will do anything to stop you from your purpose. Hence, it sends guilt, shame, and doubt in your heart that mostly leads to procrastination. But you are already victorious. When God puts a desire for you to follow a dream in your heart, like for example, wanting to become a thought leader in your industry who speaks in conferences or teaches other people about your expertise, or launching a podcast about something that you're truly passionate about, or building a nonprofit so you can support your advocacies. All of those things, God already knows that You have everything within you for you to do it. After all, He won't give you anything, He won't give you a desire that He knows you can't handle. Just like what my very favorite verse in Ephesians 3:20 says, "To Him who by means of working in us is able to do so much more than we can ask, think, or even imagine." Through and through, we are reminded that God is working in us, that it is by His strength and by His power and His authority and His Spirit that we are able to step into the responsibilities and roles and calling that He has placed in our lives. Most of the time, if we truly ask ourselves what's causing our procrastination, we would somehow realize that it's one, we don't believe that we can do that task or that dream or goal. Second is we think that we are going to fail at it. And three, we think that we are going to be criticized when we finally do it. So because of all these fear patterns, it could be conscious or subconscious, we fall into the procrastination trap. Those are exactly the things that the enemy loves to see because it doesn't want us moving in our purpose. But you see, deep down, he's actually scared. The enemy is actually trembling when people like us starts moving into the direction of our dreams and start taking steps of faith and start obeying the instructions that God gives us. He's scared because he knows just how much we can do, just how much we can create, and just how much impact we can form in our lives and through our lives when we start taking action towards our dreams. Because that means it's just one more person free from captivity. It's one more person who has broken the chains and decided, I am not going to be limited by these thoughts, by what other people think, or by my procrastination, or by my habits anymore. No, you're free. So always remember, you are already victorious. Jesus in the cross has already paid the price for your victory, for your freedom. And so you are free from procrastination too, right? I am allowed to focus on the next small step instead of the big radical goals that I have. So here's the thing. Another big reason why a lot of us procrastinate is because the dream and the goal gets so big that it actually starts overwhelming us. The antidote for this is to break down that huge goal that you have into small little tiny steps that you can actually do and take steps on every single day. You see, consistent faith steps will take you farther than radical big steps that you will take once in a blue moon. Just take a step after step after step after step. Those add up collectively, and then one day you'll be surprised that you were already able to get to your dreams in God's perfect time. God has chosen me and entrusted this dream to me. In the Chosen series, there was this one line where the character Jesus in that series said, I ask a lot of those who follow me, and I ask little of those who do not. That really stuck to me when I first heard it. You know, because sometimes I end up questioning God. Why put this dream in my heart, Lord? Like, it's so big. Look at me, I'm procrastinating right now. I don't even feel deserving of this dream, of this purpose in my life. I don't even feel like doing it. So why choose me, Lord? I don't know if you've asked the same question. But for me, God never really needs to defend why He would choose us, why He would choose me in the purpose that He wants me to do. It always boils down to the fact that He is sovereign over my life, and that He created me, and that He has good plans for me. And the same thing is a reminder for you. He chooses you to do something that you are being called to. you know what it is. In your heart, if you truly seek for it, you would know what your purpose is and what God is calling you to. Sometimes it's the things that you are so fearful to do. You are trying so hard to procrastinate on because it causes this resistance. But you have to remind yourself that God chooses you. And He does that because He most probably sees something in you and I that you and I can't even see just yet, right? Because God is sovereign. He knows the good plans that He has for our lives. And it's not just, when God invites us to walk in the purpose, in the path that He has laid out for us, it's not actually just for us. It could be for someone out there. It could be for other people. It could be for the entire world, right? Who knows? So when God calls you for something, there's really no other option but to have an obedient and willing heart and hands. So this means that there might be some sacrifices. This means that there might be some discomfort, inconvenience, and fear. The task might seem so big and so difficult. It means sometimes that we have to give up something. When I was writing my book, Faith Steps, there was a lot of times that I was so tempted to binge watch and to just, watch Netflix all day. But I had to give that up because I knew that the purpose is bigger than me. It's beyond me. There's someone out there who needs to read this. And I do not know who that is, but I know that I'm writing this because of that one person. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of time management. But the outcome is always worth it. Rest is different than being idle. I can rest without feeling guilty that I'm procrastinating on something. A lot of times, the guilt and shame that comes along with procrastination is actually caused by the culture of grind and hustling in our society. It makes you feel like you're less than if you are not always on work mode. So we end up procrastinating because we think that once we start moving, there's not gonna be any rest, or we start resting and we find it hard to build momentum again. I'm not a car expert or anything, but I want you to think about this analogy. It's like a car going so fast, maybe like 100, 120 kilometers per hour, and then it hits the brakes suddenly. And so because of the inertia that hits, it still wasn't able to brake at the right time and still fell from the cliff because the driver saw that cliff too late. Whereas if that car and the driver of that car is not too much in a rush and is just driving down the road at the right speed, it would have been able to see just in time that there was a cliff on the road ahead. So it could have avoided what could have been such a drastic accident. So just like what I said earlier, it's okay to take small faith steps every single day rather than the very huge ones that we try to pressure ourselves with so much. The heart posture and why we do what we do actually matters more to God than what we do. So we have to remind ourselves that when we are struggling with procrastination, because too much pressure on ourselves to just go and hustle can end up putting too much burden on us that we end up spiraling even more into this procrastination trap. So know that you can take a break without feeling guilty of having a rest. That frees you from a lot of burden and a lot of pressure in yourself, unnecessary pressure. And so that will help you become more motivated in at least taking that one small step that you can do that day. So my loves, those are just some of the reminders that I say to myself when I feel like I'm starting to procrastinate on something. It's not just the little tasks that we have every day, but even the big dreams that we have, sometimes we procrastinate a lot on them. So I truly hope that you will start taking those little faith steps towards your dreams. It's okay to procrastinate once in a while. It's okay to take a break. But please do not settle in that. You have so much more potential, and if you don't believe it, borrow my belief right now and I'm transferring it to you virtually right now. Okay, so I hope that this video has been helpful for you. If you like this video, please hit like, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe again and hit the bell to be notified of our videos so that you will not miss it. We post videos every Monday, so feel free to share it with your friends or family or colleagues that you have that you think are going to get value from the videos. I also would like to invite you to follow my Instagram page at Myrra, where I post a lot of tips and content that will help you build a life of purpose, freedom, and impact. And don't forget to watch this video next so that you can get more faith-based personal development and mindset tips to help you live out your purpose and step out in faith. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.